recent years that the modern entertainment landscape has discovered that the characters that we create in fantasy, sci-fi, and other fantastic worlds can only be fully explored not through just literature, but also through other mediums as well. It makes sense then that this would expand into Web3 and we would leverage blockchain technology and the benefits that it provides to facilitate the exploration of strange worlds. And today we have with us the co-creator and artist for one such new strange world, Forgotten Runes. We have here with us ElfJTrul. How are you doing today, Elf?
I'm great, guys. Thanks for inviting me on. Happy to be here.
It's great to have you. And I would love to hear the summary of this before we begin to dive in, because I'm looking at the Forgotten Runes website and there is a lot,
Yeah,
very dense.
yeah, it's complicated, and I try every day to figure out a easier, cleaner way to describe everything we're doing. Yeah, where do I even begin? It's like you said in your intro. This is a project about world building, and this concept of world building it's nothing new. It's been going on for a very long time. But what we are doing that is new is we've decentralized the whole process of world building. And so we've got tens of thousands of characters that are all owned by our community, of course, as NFTs. And they are we devise ways every day to empower our community to create for their characters, and as they create for their characters, our world gets bigger and bigger. um, maybe that's like the quick elevator pitch of what we do, but it's so much deeper than that.
I mean, as I'm looking just through the main page, right? You got these cool pixel art characters, and you've got a trailer on here for a TV series that you guys are working on. I scroll down more. You've got physical comic books that
Yep.
look completely badass. You've got
Yep.
video games. I saw this one. This got my attention here. Dice. That makes me think of Zach and what he's doing. Like,
Yep.
what aren't you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing a lot. We do a podcast every week on Wednesday called Wizard Wednesday, and which was just yesterday. And it's funny. One thing I was talking about yesterday is just how big our media footprint is, and how our company is like doing these bigger media expressions like the game and the show and the comic and some other things, but our community is doing so many other things. There's so many alternate forms of media that our community is exploring. So to answer your question, what aren't we doing? Like, I don't think there's any like artistic expression our community has not done. They've written music. They've made puppets. They make sculptures. They make animation. They make pottery. They make poems. Like, it's just every day I'm seeing something new and amazing. Our community is just so prolific. They've really just taken world building to the next level.
Now, a lot of projects declare that they have this sort of collaborative narrative construction, but really what it is it comes down to a poll where community members will vote on what happens next in the story, and that doesn't offer a whole lot of power. But it sounds like you've extended this open invitation to participants of your community and people who own these mage and wizard tokens to
Yep.
contribute in a much more active capacity.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say like at the core of our creative community is this thing that's called the Book of Lore, and it's this digital book that's on our website. This is Yeah, there it is. This is like the sort of the central hub of our world building effort. And so, what it is it's a book that contains every single Forgotten Runes character, and when you own one, you can connect your crypto wallet, and that gives you right access to the character that you own. So this is sort of like the foundation of all the world building, and I think so far we've got like almost 3,000 entries in this thing of people writing stories for their characters. Um, and so then, yeah, I mean that's sort of where it starts. But then our our job as the founders is we take a lot of this creative content and we push it into these larger media expressions like the comic and the game and the show. And so, yeah, I mean, just like, for example, the trailer that's on our website, so many scenes in that trailer are just totally inspired by things that our community has created. A few of the stories in the comic book are stories from the Book of Lore. And so that's sort of what we see our role as, is just this this sort of bridge to like the larger like professional Hollywood media ecosystem. We're bringing our community's creations into that larger pipeline. Um, and it's just this beautiful symbiotic relationship between us, which we're called Magic Machine and the cult. And the creativity is just constantly flowing both ways in a decentralized way.
Now, the direct impact that you're giving people on this first party property, the Book of Lore, which it sounds like you're using this as the basis for canon from which the rest of this media springs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that that comes with some challenges that wouldn't exist in a more centralized system, like people perhaps attempting to write unsavory things in the Book of Lore or contradicting something else that's canonical. How do you deal with these things?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and we get this question all the time, and it's definitely something we have worked through. And I've got several answers to this, and they're all pretty important. On the one hand, it's like Magic Machine has created like a baseline canon narrative. Like, I made a map. There's like certain political factions in our world, the Runeverse. There are certain villains and threats that we've defined, like the Quantum Shadow. So we provide this like baseline scaffolding upon which people can write their stories. Um, the next level is yeah, people are writing for their individual characters. So how do we prevent discontinuity between these stories? Um, the first answer is like, we're dealing with a magical world, and so much of the discontinuity can sort of be magicked away. I mean, we even have like different time travel and different timelines and alternate realities playing in the universe. So those mechanics alone can really just like explain maybe contradictory information. Uh, Number two, I always say, like, honestly, every media franchise in history has discontinuity. Look at Batman. Um, the stories in the 1960s of Batman are in no way continuous with the stories written of Batman today. However, there is like a baseline narrative that always stays true, which is like, billionaire vigilante fights crime as dressed as a bat. Like that never almost never changes, but everything else is sort of like free for all. And like the world accepts it. It doesn't really matter if there's discontinuity. Like we all still love Batman. And when you dig into other like media franchises, you find that literally all of them are like this. James Bond, the Ninja Turtles. Um, I mean, I'm blanking on, but like all of them have discontinuity, but people still love them because like core stories stay intact. Um, and then finally, I would say like one of the reasons we chose the fantasy genre is because, I mean, number one, I'm just a fan of it, but number two, it's like, in addition to being able to like magic away any discontinuity, it's all based on these like timeless archetypes that have been with humanity since the dawn of time. And we as humans already know what these archetypes are, whether we realize it or not. And so when you build a story based on these timeless archetypes, you would be amazed at how often continuity actually happens just accidentally, or by itself. Like I see it every day. There's this amazing, almost eerie synchronicity constantly happening in our community between stories. It's like I can put like an element out there, like we released a bunch of magical beasts, and I gave very little information about what they were, and like the community just sort of intuitively knew what the stories were about anyway, because they're based on ancient archetypes. And there's so many like archetypal symbols in the entire collection that everybody just sort of inherently understands what they mean. And so you'd be amazed at how often the stories aren't really as discontinuous as you would think.
I'm sure that Joel has some questions, but just really quickly, a couple things there. It might sound like he's talking some other language, like he's speaking some nonsense when he talks about ancient archetypes. He's not. As a writer, this is completely legit what he's saying.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think a
just
little bit of
sorry,
Joseph Campbell in there as
I
well.
was, I was just getting ready to say the Joseph Campbell's monomyth. I'm sure you know what that is, but it's like, yeah, when you use that as your baseline, the monomyth, then like everything works. And I think that's just one of our secret weapons.
I love it. I love the depth of this. I love the conversation you guys are having. I'm interested in the you got games coming too, obviously, and I'm looking at some gameplay of what's coming here. There's a battle game going on. You've got land that you're going to be selling, and I'm assuming by having a wizard that you get some sort of priority for getting land or for playing in the game.
Yes. Yep. Yep. That's right. Yeah. This game, it's it's pretty impressive. We've got a team working on it. They've been working on it for almost a year now, I would say, and they've just been like releasing a lot of great progress lately. The art looks amazing, and yeah, we're gonna figure out a way to prioritize our community in this land sale. But yeah, I'm very excited about the game. Um, it's going to be great.
So, what are you thinking the timeline looks like for the next few months? This is so dense, and you're doing so many different things. What are the next few major story beats in the release that's happening?
Yeah, we've got so many things going on. We've got a Halloween event coming up. I guess it's like almost 2 months, a month and a half. We like to do holiday events. So Halloween will be the next one. We've got. I'm trying to think like what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. We've got. Yeah, okay, we've got 3D models that are being made because what's really fun about our project is the base NFT is just these very simplified pixel characters. It's like sort of the minimum viable character, and we chose that for a reason because we call our characters creative primitives. Um, and from those creative primitives, you can extrapolate 1,000 different styles and different art forms, and so um, we've also released walk cycles for these pixelized characters that are being deployed in all kinds of 2D metas right now as we speak. We're building mini games for these 2D pixelized characters, but we're also in the process of building full 3D characters that will be deployed in any open 3D meta. Um, so yeah, I mean that's a big one that I'm really excited about lately is the 3D characters. We've also got the next issue of the comic in the works. I just saw a few pages today. They look freaking amazing. We're in talks with a bunch of different people about this show that we're developing. We've got a really impressive writer who is writing on our show right now. His name is Derrick Colstad. He is the creator of the John Wyck franchise. He also wrote this awesome film on Netflix called Nobody. He's super
Oh,
talented.
with Better Call Saul. I saw that one. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, yeah.
What is this? What is this secret tower? Like, it can't be that secret because there's a link on the homepage that clicks tower, and now I'm on this thing, and I can scroll down. Like, oh, there's some dice floating above it, and I can see a little bit of what's going on here, but not too much because it's a secret.
Yeah, this secret tower. It's kind of a misnomer, but its function basically is this is the conduit from which all of our characters have been summoned to the real world. Um, this is where the wizards were summoned last year. This is where the warriors were summoned. But yeah, it's a very important landmark. It's on the map in the Runeverse. It's just sort of the conduit between metaspace and meat space.
What is 672? Because when I click on the door, either one of these doors, this dice pops up and it says 672.
I have no idea what that is.
Perfect.
You're gonna have to ask my
Perfect.
programmer Dota what that is.
That's fantastic. Zach, I'm going to let you finish with the questions because they took this exact moment to work outside my door and beat the crap out of tile that they're laying. So it's
Perfect.
really noisy. And you've got better questions than me, anyhow, Zach. So carry on.
Sure. So I would love to know, outside of the synchronicity, outside of the individual stories that are following different characters in the Runeverse, if there is a singular overarching narrative that sort of unifies the whole property.
Yeah, you know, part of the answer to that is like I've got it written and thought out in my head, but I'm waiting for these more entertaining media expressions to reveal all this, like the show, because it's just one of the biggest secrets of the Runeverse. Like what is the quantum shadow, and how did the Runeverse come to be, and why do wizards exist? Why does magic exist? These are very deep questions that not only the characters in the Runeverse are asking, but also our community. Um, so there's a lot I won't say right now, just because I'm waiting for ways to reveal that. But I think even in more general, what I would say is like maybe one of the biggest themes of this whole project is just uh, exploring the connection between sort of I I'm always whoops, I just threw my pen. I'm always trying to show I'm always trying to connect the universe to the real world. And it's like a commentary on how meat space interacts with metaspace. It's a commentary on how we as human beings identify as our digital avatars on the internet. Um, I am my wizard and my wizard is me is a very real phrase. And I know that almost every NFT project has that phrase. But like, I'm actually trying to explore what that literally means. And what does it mean when, as our real physical reality is constantly intersecting with digital reality, and how digital reality is almost more as time goes on, it's more and more real than our physical reality. And of course the ultimate expression of this is going to be the metaverse and everything that entails. And so it's like it's always trying to explore this connection between the art we create and we express on online and in digital formats, and how that connects to our real life. Um, and what's great about it is like, that's what the history of magic has always been about. That's what the history of art and storytelling has always been about. Storytelling and art is always just an expression of the real world. It's holding up a mirror to the real world. And that's a lot of what we're trying to do with Forgotten Runes.
Elf, I gotta say, I love the authenticity and the passion and the thoughtfulness with which you are building this. That, to me, personally, my opinion, one of the signs of a truly meaningful effort. And I love that you're building this. Love hearing about it.
Oh, thank you.
How do people go and find out more, and how do they get engaged and gain access to the book of lore for themselves?
Yeah, so I mean, the first place obviously is our website, forgottenrunes.com. You can explore that. The website is pretty complex. Just dig around in it for a while. We are in the process of creating a wiki, which has a ton of information that explores not only the lore, but more just like the technical and the utilitarian aspects of our project. um, I think actually a really great resource is our weekly podcast called Wizard Wednesday. It's on our Twitter. It's every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, I believe.
And that Twitter is at Forgotten Runes for anyone who might not have caught that.
Yep, exactly. And you can also listen to past Wizard Wednesdays on our YouTube channel. And then also just come into our Discord and ask questions. Our community is one of the most friendly communities in the whole space. They're always eager to help out. So yeah, those would probably be the best places to dive in.
I feel like we've explored quite a bit of territory in this short 20 minutes.
Has it already been 20 minutes? Wow.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun. ForgottenRunes.com, gang. This is what building in the new Web3 world looks like. Digital, physical, community, experiences, story. These guys seem to have it all. Elf, thanks for coming on today and sharing with us. This is awesome.
Thanks for the invitation, guys.
Zach, I feel like you guys have so much simpatico here and perhaps some other things to talk about offline. So those of you listening, watching, consuming the show, we appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe, review, rate, share with a friend, put it on the Twitter, shout it from the very rooftops that you must.
Keep it magically nifty. Poof! We're out.
Looking into the future, what do we see? It's lined with digital collectibles, we call them NFTs. Games, trading cards, digital art, and those crypto kitties. Joel and Zach are the hosts, you'll know. Joel and Zach say this will blow. They're locked and loaded, so ready, set, go! It's the nifty, really kind of spiffy. The nifty.